I went into Alex's office and we read a lot of scenes together. And we read with Jody Lambert, who also wrote the screenplay as well. So the three of us kind of hung out in Alex's office for a long time and just read through scenes and talked about the characters and talked about history and, the personal connection that Alex had to the story. And, I felt a lot of responsibility because he was so personally invested to really find, find people in my life and moments in my life that I could connect to as well for this character, for playing Frankie. And the great part about making this movie was I got to speak to members of his family. I got to speak to his long-lost sister that he met, so, and really talk to her about how she feels about everything and who she blames, and it was fascinating because a lot of the movie is, for Frankie, is about forgiveness and grace. And I was just looking to find a sense of grace by the end of the film. We made this movie like day by day, and I feel that Frankie lives her life day by day. So it was actually the process for me really helped feed. I'm always looking for ways for the process to feed the character, and I really felt like partly this process fed the character, even in getting to know Chris. I had never met him before we made this movie. I didn't meet him until the read-through, and then we did rehearse together a little bit, but it really was in sort of finding him and who he is, and all of that is happening on screen. I mean, we shared those stories. Those are real stories, the cheerleading. When we're sitting at the taco joint, Henry's Tacos. It's Henry's, not Harry's, right? Henry's. And when we're sitting at Henry's Tacos, those are real stories. Those are from our real lives. That's me, that's Elizabeth and Chris sharing things that we happen to feel are relevant to, Frankie and Sam. When you meet Frankie, she's just found out that she's lost her father for good. I mean, she lost her father a long time ago, and I think the heartbreaking thing for Frankie is that I really feel Frankie felt like she was going to get the chance to tell this guy off someday, and now that chance is gone. And that there was some moment of not reconciliation, but at least acknowledgement from this man, and now that's not possible. To meet Sam, who's this really lovely, very charming bloke who comes into her life when she's least expecting to meet someone charming. And just someone really lovely who's really interested in her in a pure way. That's not something Frankie's used to, and she needs that right then and there when it happens. Well, I think Sam connects with Josh partially because he's a child. He's a man-child. Josh is just about at his level, is what I think. And also I think he's really afraid of a very grown-up Frankie. I mean, the great thing about this movie, too, is this is about two people who have been around the block a few times. I think both Sam and Frankie, they have very good reasons to be as protective of themselves as they are. And, and it really is about them finding a more childlike way of sort of being, seeing the world again, a sunnier way of seeing the world, and letting people in a deeper way than either of them are really capable, even really capable of doing. It's like they're the keys that unlock each other. This movie is deeply about family, deeply about how to create family in your everyday life, with how to care about people in a deep way. And that's what connects everybody. It's what I do believe we can all be connected. And there's a way to want kindness and grace amongst all of us, and acceptance and love, and that's a lot better than judgment and walls and pushing away. And you know, it's just like, it's just a lovely movie about how we can all be better people. Sam is completely closed off from people and himself, his feelings, everything. He's completely closed down and has a lot of walls, like Frankie. And they bust each other's walls down slowly. But the great thing about this movie, I think that the lives of these two people don't really begin anew until the end of this movie. This isn't a movie where we watch them start over. Like we go through a journey that gets them to the point where now they can start over. And that's what I found really fascinating about this material. Just knowing that they were going to go, this is almost like the mini journey before the long journey can actually begin. I feel really lucky that I was connected to Frankie very quickly, very early, very early in the process. It was not in other words, once I had the roadmap of the script and I knew the depths to which I had to go and I knew what was required in every scene on every day, Alex and I were very comfortable with each other and just sort of, there was a lot of trust. And he was a very good guide, at sort of just the little gentle pushes now and then. But we really, I lived Frankie. I really felt her deeply in my soul and in my bones the whole time I was making the movie. Before we started shooting, I got CDs with all of the music, everything that influenced them while they were writing. And, I got the list that Josh gets from Sam. I got all of that music, just so that we were all sort of on the same page about the influences, what is inspiring this movie, what makes someone like Sam tick, music it's clearly very important to everybody in this film.